Should children eat a carnivore diet? Should babies eat a lot of meat? So I recorded a video on this back in the day, but I want to do an updated video. Some of the comments that have come in on that video and thinking about it myself and feeding our son the foods that we do, etc. I have some ideas on this. So one of my viewers, Sarah, left a comment, and I'm just going to read it for you real quick. Colin, my son just turned 5 this week, eats around 75% of his calories or more from animal fats and proteins, eating grass-fed meat, pastured eggs, butter, yogurt, etc. The only vegetable he has eaten in over 2 years is a handful of steamed organic broccoli. He also eats apples, oranges, berries, and raw milk. Sometimes he chooses to have a little white bread with his meal. Also, he gets a treat such as a spoonful of ice cream after dinner sometimes. This week, I've been trying to introduce some sweet potatoes for healthy carbs, but is that necessary? People around me say that I'm restricting his diet because I don't give him a lot of grains, except for a bun that is only 15 carbs, beans, rice, cereal, pasta. I feel like I've let him eat intuitively and he likes his diet. He's also grown a lot and has gained 5 pounds since March. He is 97th percentile for his height and 89th for weight. His intelligence level has also been increasingly impressive lately. He seems to be more happier and optimistic than his peers. What do you think about this? I think 100% that his diet is complete, but other people are making me doubt myself. I totally understand that. In this world, I believe it was Emerson said, when you can be who you are in a world that is constantly trying to turn you into something else, that's the greatest accomplishment. And I'm paraphrasing that, of course. Society, culture, government, politicians, corporations, they want you to be a lemming, a robot. They want you to vote a certain way, buy a certain way, talk to each other, and gossip a certain way about the same stupid things. It is hard because you grow up in this environment. It is hard to have your own original thoughts and ideas, especially when those thoughts and ideas conflict with what the masses think. But let's just take a few data points into consideration right now. Majority, meaning more than 50% of Americans are overweight, some obese, some severely overweight. Every year that goes by, being lean, fit, and healthy is becoming a rare thing. Doctors, the medical establishment, big pharmaceutical, big food, these multi-billion-dollar scams are designed to manage symptoms of people that are overweight, of people that aren't taking care of themselves. What incentive is there for big pharmaceutical to say eat clean food so you don't have to go to the doctor and you don't have to take drugs? There is none. It doesn't exist. Same thing for big food. One incentive is there to say shop at your local farmer's market, get to know your farmer, buy small, buy local, etc. No incentive for them. And then doctors are basically just unknowing pawns in this game. Some know it because pharmaceutical reps pay them a lot of money, give them gifts and trips and all this nonsense. Some just don't really care because they don't have time in their busy schedule to actually read some of the research. And as it goes with anything, the medical establishment ends up doing a lot of the same things. Groupthink. The rarest thing today is an independent critical thinker. I'm going to share what I responded to with this, but let's talk about a couple things right here. The 5-year-old is eating mostly grass-fed meat, pastured eggs, butter, and yogurt. That diet right there would be enough for the rest of his life. He would be in the 99.99 percentile of health. Then he also eats apples, oranges, berries, and raw milk. Awesome. Great. We give our son options like that too. A little bit of fruit here and there. He even has some cassava chips. Last night he had some gluten-free pizza, but we try to limit that as much as possible. Because when our son eats those foods, I'm under no impression whatsoever that it's good for him. It's bad psychologically. It's bad for his gut. It's bad for his biology. So this idea about grains, especially modern, hybridized, basically corporate patented grains. Look at Monsanto, Bayer, whatever. They own a bunch of seeds, all this fake food, so they can use their glyphosate, the Roundup, whatever. The grains that you buy at the grocery store are not even close, not even a smidgen of the grains that hunter-gatherers may have eaten sometimes. Okay, so that's one thing. It's not the same food. Even the fruit and the vegetables you're getting are not the same that you can find in nature. Fruit in the wild is usually borderline bitter, barely sweet, a little bit of fructose, a little bit of sugar. Yet an apple at the grocery store has usually got 20 grams of sugar, with half of that being fructose. I won't go into that today, but it's kind of a joke. Yes, we still buy produce here and there. We do give our son some apples and oranges, things like that. We try to buy organic, we try to buy local, etc. Right? We do try to do that. But again, I'm not under any impression that it's really doing anything good for him. I don't think that he's going to eat an apple and, oh, the fiber's so good for him, and the vitamins are so good for him, and the micronutrients are so good for him. I think more than anything, fruit, and I'm actually doing a video on this, carnivore plus fruit. I actually think fruit is more for a sanity and a variety perspective. And there might be some benefit to having a little bit of fiber here and there and kind of mix up your gut microbiota, give it a little bit of variety. Like there's definitely something to be said for having variability in the diet, right? So I do like including those things myself and in my son's diet from time to time. But I'm not doing it because I think it's going to make him healthy or because if he didn't have it, I would be afraid of him being unhealthy, okay? That's not the case at all. And that's just an illusion. There is absolutely no reason for any human to eat modern grains. And if there are a bit of nutrients in these foods, they're far outweighed by the anti-nutrients and the things that attack you, which obviously if you're watching this video, you already get that, so I don't need to go into that, okay? But there is no essential need for carb-dense, heavily processed, in a lot of cases GMO, hybridized, refined, processed, corporate inventions. There's no need for any human to eat these foods, especially children. And we still don't understand the connection between diet when you're younger to all the problems we're having in adulthood, which, guess what? A lot of people that are getting heart disease, cancer, that are overweight, they started eating a lot of these processed, refined, corporate-made frankenfoods when they were younger. I even did myself, and I have allergies and back pain. There's certain things that I struggle with too. And so we do sometimes give him ice cream. He has Rebel. We give him Rebel sometimes, okay? And he loves that. Again, it's the frequency, it's the dose. Like the more he has it, the more he's gonna want it. It can mess up the palate, it messes up the brain and the dopamine, the reward centers. That's the problem with not only grains, but anything that's very carb heavy or even fruit that is very sugar and fructose heavy, is it rewires your appetite and your brain's perception of flavor. I'm doing a video on carnivore plus fruit because I think fruit can be used strategically, and obviously honey can as well, to mix it up a little bit, because I do notice that lately I've just not been craving steak as much as I did before. And so I got to try to experiment with some different dishes, maybe some different animal proteins. I'm trying to do more seafood, things like that. It's a real thing. If you eat the same thing every single day, for the most part, your body's going to revolt. Your body wants variety, okay? Because in nature, we used to get variety a lot. We wouldn't have the same thing every single day. We wouldn't have been able to develop food allergies because we couldn't eat chicken breasts every single day or nuts every day or whatever. This is your biology telling you that you need variety. Variety is how we become anti-fragile when we're eating food. So I am a big proponent of variety, but that doesn't mean that you should be doing it every single day or every single meal. A variety to me is like a couple times a week maybe, and then even go periods of time without it and then bring it back in. So this is my answer. So ask yourself this question. If you were to eat carnivore and then test your blood after 30 days and everything improved, including mood, how you feel, etc., then you would go back to basically eating what other people say, and then everything got worse. How is that even a question? Because a bunch of people have agreed that this is the right way, even though America's as fat and as sick as it's ever been. Millions of people die every year from preventable, mostly nutrition-centered diseases. It's incredible, but it's also understandable. This is how powerful the people around us are. This is how powerful culture can be, the masses can be, groupthink can be. It can completely warp our perception of how to even think. Now look at 2020 and all the politics and all the nonsense, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. So then I also say funded research is done usually with money from big food corporations. Yeah, did you know that? That most of the research related to nutrition or food is funded by food companies? You do not need some dude in a lab coat to tell you how to eat. The idea of this is a corporate invention. Corporations have been putting scientists and doctors on TV, fake ones usually, on commercials, on the front of boxes for years. This is part of the reason that people so blindly trust doctors and experts in the first place, because corporations have paid for all the marketing behind them. It is a complete and utter scam, and it's killed millions of people, still does. Listen to your own intellect. Listen to the data that's in front of you. When you do a test where you take something out or you add something to your diet and you get results, you feel better, you look better, the weight comes off, your rashes go away, your allergies, that is an experiment. And then if you want to be very sure, go back to how you were eating and then watch it all come back. And then look yourself in the mirror and be like, does this make any sense? I should do what these doctors, scientists, and experts say, but then I should feel bad and I should have all the negative consequences. Why? Because why? Because why? And if you literally did a blood work every single day and you track this and you glucose monitors and you tested everything, your biology will tell you, are you headed for disease by your numbers coming down and things getting worse and things flaring up? Or are you moving away from disease by, like I said, losing weight, feeling better, looking better, things clearing up? This idea that some guy in a lab coat, some research is going to tell you whether you're going to head towards disease or not based on what you eat is one of the greatest scams of the 21st century. Literally. And as it relates to kids, kids should eat nutrient-dense, real foods from nature with animals at the base. And yes, I think it's good to give them some variety here and there, maybe some fruit. And if you want to give them a cheat meal every so often, that's fine. I don't think getting them on grains or straight sugar candy type foods is good. I think it's going to mess up their biology. It's going to mess up their brain. It's going to mess up their palate. We don't do it for ours, but we do give him like some Rebel ice cream. He has some berries here and there. If he wants an orange, he can have that, some apple, etc. And to me, that is the optimal human diet, not just for kids, but also for teenagers, for adults, for the elderly. It is the natural human diet. And of course, as per the law says, I have to say that this is not nutrition advice. This is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. This is not medical advice. You should consult an expert to help you make those decisions so that they are informed and so that hopefully they won't kill you in the long run. If you enjoyed this video, watch some more of my carnivore videos, hop on the newsletter over at colin.coach. And my other show, Escaping Fragility, if you want to learn about mindset, success, and getting a plan B, you can also find that over at colin.coach. I will see you in the next one. Hey, Colin here. Got a freebie for you. Click on the button below to go to the ancestralmind.com and download the 7 Principles of Living Wild. This is a short PDF that's got some of the main principles, such as real food, sleep, movement, and a couple more that are going to help you live more ancestrally in accordance with your genes.